So what I've noticed lately is players struggle for two reasons, mostly, right? Reason number one is that they're missing one of the four. Actually, they're usually missing 3 out of 4 of the key factors of improvement and development in the game of basketball. So let's talk about the 4 factors, right? Number one is gameplay, right? You got to have game experience, obviously, play against people. Number 2 is your team practices where you're learning offensive and defensive concepts at practice, where it's okay to fail and you're learning, right? And you're getting more reps. Number 3 is skill development training, where you're working on your specific skills, okay? Your individual, detailed work that you have to do. Number 4 is your strength and conditioning. Be able to run faster, jump higher, quicker, stronger, all that. Most kids who struggle are missing usually 3 out of the 4. So for example, like if you play on 3 different AAU teams and all you do is you play games, maybe you have one practice a week, you're hitting that game component, but you're missing a lot of the other, you're missing the other 3, right? Because usually when you put more time into one of them, you neglect the other ones, right? And then when your players who are a little bit better, they're hitting 2 out of the 4, right? So maybe they're doing some skill training and then some, they play their games. Really, really good at players, unless you're a natural freak. They hit all 4, and they're serious about all 4, and they have a regimen and their routine, and they stick to it. Okay, so that's something that holds players back. And the most common one is you're playing on a bunch of teams, and which is good, it's fun. You're getting you're getting the game experience, but you neglect the other ones because you spend so much time traveling and stuff like that, and by the time you get home, you're exhausted, or you don't have that set routine with the other things that are a priority, right? Number 2 is players, when they do their training aspect, their skill development, is they care who is next to them too much. Meaning, if you are older, you don't want to be around somebody who's younger than you, even though the training session doesn't have anything to do with competing. You're working on your thing. That other kid who is maybe younger than you or maybe not as good as you is working on their thing. And you're not even playing against each other. There's some kids who it's one of 2 things. They have a big ego, that presence of that other kid bothers you because he's simply born after you, which is crazy. And number 2 is you're overly focused on the social dynamic of your training, and you're not focused on, okay, well, I'm here to get better. I'm not here to form lifelong friendships, which that could happen, but that's not the main focus. So that's what's holding back most players. And it's a shame because there's kids with so much potential and that could be so much better than they are, but there's nobody really telling them these things. There's nobody holding them accountable. There's nobody that tells them to their face. Most times, sometimes they are, but there's usually people enabling them and be like, take a break, or don't do this, or don't do that, or your friend Tanya's not going to be there, so let's not, do extra training or anything like that. Those kids struggle, and then they wonder why, I'm not playing because of politics. No, you're not playing because that kid's ahead of you, because that kid most likely, they're naturally just more gifted than you, right? Which happens, and you have to work more. Life's not fair. All right, well, I'm 5'8", so what am I going to do? If somebody's a 6'5" point guard and they dribble just as good as me and move just as good as me, but they can shoot over everybody, what am I going to do? I have to work harder, right? I have to be better at something. And people enable them, And then your child doesn't get better, and then we want to say, oh, coach didn't like me, and blah, blah, blah. You have all these excuses. Point of this video is reflect on what you can do. What is your daily routine? Are you hitting the 4 factors? Are you somebody who makes excuses about, I don't want to do this because my best friend's not there? Like, who cares if your best friend's not there? Go hang out after training. So my advice is, if you just watch this video, is watch it again. And then, because when you watch something once, it doesn't really register in your head, right? You got to watch it over and over. It's like learning the lyrics to a song. You don't just learn them after one time hearing it. So watch this video again and take a notebook and write down, okay, what do I think that I'm missing from the things just mentioned in this video? What could I actually do more? And if you don't write it down, then you're probably not serious about getting better, right? And you're probably one of those people that's probably just gonna, blame the coach, and they're not playing me. There's politics, blah blah blah. The bottom line is, if you have to make yourself so good that you can't be ignored. If it's too even, right? You're leaving it up to somebody else. When you make yourself so good that you can't be ignored, they have no choice but to play you. And a lot of people think that's the situation that they're in, but 99.9% of the time, it's just you're too close with the other kid, and the coach is just like making a decision because they have to, right? If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, or click the like button, hit the bell notification icon so you get notified, and I'll see you next video.